Shalom. I want to start out foremost by giving all praise to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushua, Bahashim, Rakadish. Salutation to the elders and apostles, GMS groups and ones alike. Teach 100% truth. Shalom, Barakathum to them. And give all praise to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushua, Bahashim, Rakadish. And double honors to the apostle elders of GMS groups and ones alike. Teach 100% truth. Shalom, Barakathum to them for their knowledge and edification. And foremost, again, give all praise to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushua, Bahashim, Rakadish. This is going to be a short lesson relating to take on a murder and George Floyd, the George Floyd murder, related to Minneapolis, Minnesota. And my take on that through the spirit. There's an article relating to New York Times. NewYorkTimes.com talks about pretty much the most recent live updates. I'm just going to touch on a few key points. Erica McDonald, which is U.S. Attorney General, U.S. State Attorney for the District of Minnesota, said on Thursday that the Department of Justice has made the investigation in this case a top priority. No kidding. Here's some other key points. The Minnesota governor activated the National Guard and declared a state of emergency relating to the protests overnight. A lot of fires, a lot of infrastructural damage. Let's continue. A fatal shooting near the protest was under investigation. Mr. Floyd's family called for murder charges against the 4 officers involved in his arrest. And those 4 officers ultimately resigned from were fired from the Minneapolis Police Department. Minor protests and looting continued on Thursday, forcing the evacuation of the state capitol. Congressional Democrats push for a broader investigation that included 2 other recent killings. So there's pending investigation relating to other matters, just like in various other major cities. You know, ones like this, the Eric Gardners and different other ones involving young men and, unfortunately, police officers. You know what I mean? So this is just one of the many, pretty much. The New York governor compared the Floyd case to the death of Eric Gardner, and pretty much many others like that, because there's many others. This is just one of the many. Protests overnight, building structures damaged, pawn shops, jewelry shops, etc. from the looting, riot. When these things happen, there's most of the damage is pretty much within their own limits, with their own areas, man. Stores and jewelry stores, you know, so they damage in their own area. So that don't make no sense, you know what I mean? But that's that spirit of unfortunately, 2/3 of our people beginning to rise. You know what I mean? Police used pepper spray on the protesters during a confrontation Wednesday outside of the 3rd Precinct headquarters of Minneapolis, Minnesota. So there were protesters that were pretty much. They were protesting, you know, the police officers were right there, and they pepper spraying it. Also, in other major cities such as Memphis and Los Angeles, are protests involving this murder case. Now, the 4 officers, like I said, were fired from the department. The FBI joined in the investigation of death of the George Floyd murder. You know what I mean? So pretty much making it a top priority. you know. And there's a few other key points there talking about a thorough investigation relating to a more broader investigation, thorough investigation they're going to do relating to this, as they say. Understand this, you know. I'm going to read some verses on this, scriptural verses. This is our captivity. Micah 2:10. This is not a place of our rest, man, for the so-called blacks, Hispanic, Native Americans. We think why they go through what they go through in this country, man. Historically, currently, past, whatever the case might be. And our people, 2/3 of our people have no understanding of that. This is a spiritual matter. You know what I mean? They have no understanding. They wonder why we get treated the way we do. Number one is from a spiritual aspect first, because ultimately, wicked men and women among our people, which ultimately affected the whole nation of Israel, decided not to follow and do certain things as they were commanded to do. Their disobedience ultimately cost them to be in a certain state of condition. And that's why they're going through what they're going through in this country, man. And this is all punishment by Yahweh Shem Yahshua ultimately. Like I said, Micah 2:10. This is not a place of our rest, man. This is in Deuteronomy 28. This relates to the curses, man. The so-called blacks, Hispanic, Native Americans. That's why they're going through what they go through. You know what I mean? And this is just that simple, man. I want to read some verses. This is Isaiah 45:7. I form the light, create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. That's the balanced power, the majesty of Yahweh Shem Yahshua ultimately. Something that Christianity will never understand, because they think the Lord is all lovey-dovey and prosperity on one side. The Lord's a balanced power, man. He created both good and evil. He is both good and evil if he chooses. And the emphasis is he created evil. That means he created evil. Deuteronomy 32:39. See now that I even am he, and there is no God with me. I kill, I make alive, I wound, and I have neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. So the Lord can make alive, he can kill, he can pretty much do what he want to do. Like I said, he's that balanced power, man. He's that balanced power, man. Christianity teaches the Lord is all good, all goody and love. God is good. But what they fail to realize is there's a bitter side to the Lord too. There's a bitter side where the Lord can do evil as well and execute judgment. And relating to that scriptures, it's mostly bitter in them scriptures. A lot of bitter. That's why people don't like this truth, man. Because it's pretty much a bitter pill to swallow. And they don't like the taste of it, matter of speaking. I want to read that again. Deuteronomy 32:39. See now that I even am he, and there is no God with me. I kill, I make alive, I wound, and I heal. And neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. So the Lord does all things. He can heal you. He can kill you. He can make you alive. He could do all kinds of things as he chooses, man. That's a balanced power, man. Job 4, 7, and 9. Now it's tragic what happened to that individual, that young man. He's 46 years old. It's tragic. And the cop that did that, or the cops involved, should be punished accordingly. Just like ones in similar other cases, similar like that, should have been punished. With that being said, the individual that was killed was he wasn't exactly a saint either. I'm going to read Job 4, 7, and 9. Remember, I pray thee, whoever perished being innocent, none. In the eyes of the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahshua, none of us are innocent. None. Or where were the righteous cut off? 8. Even as I have seen, they that plow iniquity and sow wickedness reap the same. So whatever you do, whatever you put into it, that's what you get out. If you put something that's negative, guess what? The outcome is going to be negative. If you're going to put something that's good into it, it'll be good that come out of it. Whatever you reap, you sow. In his case, man, he was doing things that wasn't in his interest. And because of that, it ultimately led to his demise. For example, he was accused of alleged check fraudery, so ultimately that would lead him to doing certain types of things that he shouldn't be doing, and that relates to his choices. His choices led to his own demise. And that's the part that people don't forget. They forget that part. Individually, he's responsible for his own actions. He chooses to do certain things. He's a big boy, so he has to deal with the consequences. That goes for me, that goes for anybody. If we do stuff, for example, hypothetically, we do stuff that is not in our interest, and knowing that we shouldn't be doing it, there could be negative consequences from that. Either way, he was doing things that was contrary to what he's supposed to be doing. And ultimately, unfortunately, cost him his life. I'm going to read number 8 again. As I have seen, they that plow iniquity sow wickedness reap the same. By the blast of Yahweh they perish, and by the breath of his nostrils they are consumed. So they can be just like, they can be here and be going just like that, just like the wind. And number 7 makes the point. Who perish being innocent? None of us. He's not innocent. He's not innocent. It's messed up on his part that he had to die. And it's messed up that that cop that abuses authority and power, abuses authority and power, abuses power and authority on him purposely to kill him. And his body language and demeanor pretty much tells that. But that individual that got killed, he was in the wrong place in the wrong time and messed with the wrong people, man. And that ultimately got him killed. By doing certain things he shouldn't have been doing. By making bad choices, man. Your choices will ultimately determine the outcome. Whatever they are, good or bad or etc. That's just my take on that. That was just a few verses relating to that I had to express real quick. Unfortunately, there's going to be more cases like this. This is not the end. Jake hasn't learned yet, man. And he never will. That's just what it is. A hard head makes a soft ass, man. Some people got to learn the hard way. It's an old school saying. Some people have to learn the hard way. And that being said, I'm going to begin to end this. Give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahshua, Ba'Shem Rakadish. Salutation to the elders and apostles of GMS groups and ones alike. Teach 100% true. Shalom Barakathum to them. Give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahshua, Ba'Shem Rakadish. The water, Shalom.